chapter 75, and halacha yud, halacha 10. I just want to mention, last class we talked about, are you allowed to use electric candles for lighting Shabbos candles? So in short, just want to go over it a little. They're allowed to use, regularly you should use candles with a fire. That's in a case when that you're not able to use candles with a fire. So you could use electric candles that have a battery and even say a bracha. If for some reason you can't find electric candles with a battery, then it's still better to turn off and turn back on the light, and do that without saying the bracha of lighting Shabbos candles. So if for whatever the situation is, someone can't use fire, whether they feel it's not safe, or the building that they're in doesn't allow fire, they could use. They should light with electric candles that have batteries. Okay. Now.
That's with a bracha or without a bracha for the electric?
If the electric candles run on, the way that the electric candles work is that they run on batteries and not by being plugged into an outlet, then you say it with a bracha. When it's with batteries, it's with a bracha. When it has to be plugged into an outlet, it works not by batteries, then it's without a bracha. So that's about electric candles. Now I want to mention a very important thing about lighting Shabbos candles is who should light Shabbos candles. We mentioned that it's everyone's obligated to light Shabbos candles, but more the responsibility and the ones that actually do the mitzvah should be the woman that's in the house. Besides the fact that women should do the mitzvah of lighting Shabbos candles, it should be done by all women, not just find one woman in the house should light. But if there are multiple, there's more than one woman in the house, each one should light Shabbos candles. And this is so not only for women, but even girls. Girls, even if they're under the age of being obligated to do mitzvahs, there still is the idea of educating girls to do mitzvahs, and also there's the idea of educating boys in mitzvahs that for all mitzvahs. So by the mitzvah, so for lighting Shabbos candles, it's important that everyone should light Shabbos. All women and girls should light Shabbos candles. And the reason that they're for everyone to do this mitzvah in a spiritual level is that every woman that lights Shabbos candles, or every girl, it's bringing more light into the world. And nowadays, it's more important to make an emphasis on this, since that there's more darkness and there's more spiritual darkness nowadays. So it's more important to bring light through lighting Shabbos candles. Now in halacha yud, we're going to discuss the laws of when more than one person is lighting in a home, which is very common. You could have more than one person that needs more than one woman, or a woman and a girl that are in one home. What's the way that they should light Shabbos candles? Those that have the Maznaim Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, it's on page 34, the top of 34. Noigen shafilu kama noshim matlikin neres bevayis echad. V'chol achas mevarechas al neresa. The custom is that even if there are many women that are lighting Shabbos candles, the custom is that even if there are many women that are lighting Shabbos candles in one home, each one should light Shabbos candles with saying a bracha. Ki kaman shenis eisef eira yesh ba simcha yisera. Because what they are adding light, there is additional joy. So that's the reason why you could say a bracha even when you're lighting after someone already lit in that home. And however, you should be careful that two women should not light in the same candle. So if they shouldn't put let's say two wicks coming from one candle, that you should be careful. But if it's a time of need and you only have, let's say, one candle, then you could be lenient and two women could light from one candle if they're lighting from different wicks. Now, although we're saying that you shouldn't light from the same candle, the lighting, you don't have to be, if there's one tray and there are two candles that are near each other, there's no problem of two different women lighting on one tray. It's just from one candle they shouldn't light. There's still going to be additional joy, fulfilling the idea of having additional joy when you light with another candle, even if the candle is right near another candle that's already burning. Halacha Yud Aleph. Halacha 11. Over here we're going to talk about having different. What are the laws when you have different things that are near the Shabbos candles? There could be cases that it could be forbidden to have certain things near the Shabbos candles. Let's see. Ein litin mayin afilu mebeidiyim l'seich nekef hamenera shemach nisim sham esaner shachel v'shal shaycha. You should not put water even on Friday before Shabbos into the hole of the candlestick. Let's say you're lighting on you have a candlestick that you put a glass container on the candlestick, and you're lighting and you're going to put a tea light in the glass container. So you shouldn't put water in the glass container that you're going to put your tea light in it, or whatever candle you have. With the intent that you're putting the water in your candelabra or your candles or your glass that's on top of your candlestick, in order that when the fire reaches the water, it's going to extinguish the fire. Let's say someone doesn't want their Shabbos candles to burn for such a long time, so they put water in the glass container that they're putting their tea light. So you shouldn't do that. Now this is specifically if the water reaches the tea light. If the water is going to be in a container, but it's not going to go all the way to the tea light, then there's no problem of having the water in the in the container, in the let's say the glass container that you're going to put the tea light. If the tea light only remains at the top of the container, it doesn't go all the way to the bottom. Because in such a case, it's not inevitable that the fire is going to get extinguished by the water. But if the water is going to reach the tea light, it's inevitable that the water is going to cause the fire to extinguish quicker.
Excuse me, Rabbi. If you don't want the candle to be extinguished by the water, what's the reason to put the water there?
So some people like to put the water there so it'll be easier to clean the glass after Shabbos.
Oh, from the melted candle.
From the melted, yeah. I could even show you, take a glass candle and make it a little simpler. Give me a moment. Here. So imagine this.
Okay.
You have this. Imagine this is in a candlestick. So if the tea light, I'll get two different types of tea lights. Give me a moment.
Okay.
Good question.
Give me a second. I'm just going to finish up with this. So here, you have a tea light. It stays at the top.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, I see. Yeah.
So now if the water would go only to here, it's not inevitable that the water is going to cause the fire that's on the tea light to get extinguished. But if you have,
But I have news for you.
but if you have a candle, wait 1 second.
None of the kettle is going to go down.
Wait 1
If
second.
none of the candle part, none of the shava is going to go down into the water. But does the water help you?
I
None of the
don't know.
wax going down. If you're blocking the whole opening with your candle, so the wax is not going down to the water.
Right. Maybe, I'm not sure. But in a
Okay.
case like this, you see there's a candle that it goes all the way to the bottom. So if you put water on the bottom, it's going to be inevitable that the water is going to cause the
flame to go out.
The flame to go out quicker. Right.
Right.
Okay, let's go on. So that's about having water, that it's forbidden, and if it's very important to be, if it's very necessary, then you could be lenient. Let's get back on. And you could be lenient if you put the water in before Shabbos. Kli imayim tachas meneira hatlu, yeah. Kadesh im yiplu nitzutzais yiskabu iser gamerhu afilu lamidim mebaydiyim. However, to put a container that has water in it under a candelabra that has Shabbos candles in it, in order that if the sparks fall, they will get extinguished by the water that's in this container that's under the candelabra. That's completely forbidden, even if you're going to put the container that has water before Shabbos begins. The reason for that is because you're causing the spark to get extinguished when the spark goes into the water. And to put a vessel that doesn't have water in it, so it's just you're just putting a container without water to receive the sparks is permitted even once it's already Shabbos. Even if you put the container under the candelabra once it's already Shabbos. Because the sparks don't have any substance to them, and they're not getting extinguished quicker by you having your container there. Your container is not causing the sparks to get extinguished. If your container wasn't there and the sparks would fall on the floor, it would still get extinguished the same amount of time. It wouldn't get extinguished any later. Ulahamid kli b'shvil sheyitaftef l'sham hashemen oyachelev mishach hashecha aser. And to put a container under the Shabbos candles, in order that it should drip into the container oil or fat. If you're putting this container once it's already Shabbos, it's forbidden. The kivan sheim yitaftef ye'aser hakli b'tiltul nimso shum mevato kli meichonai v'aser mishum dehavi ki'ilu divkei sham. That since that if the oil or fat would drip into this container, the container would be forbidden to move. You would not be able to move the container. The reason that you would not be able to move the container is given in it's discussed in chapter 88 and 89 of the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. In short, it says in short over here, it's because you're causing when oil or fat from the Shabbos candles drip into this container, it causes the container to be not be able to be used anymore on Shabbos. You're not able to move this container anymore because it has right now in this container, it contains something that was used for a forbidden labor on Shabbos. The oil or the fat, they were used to light a fire on Shabbos. And if something that was used for forbidden labor goes into a container on Shabbos, it causes the container to not be able to be used on Shabbos. And not only that you can't use the container, but you can't even move the container. And as I said, these laws are going to be explained more in chapter 88 and 89 of the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. However, to put a container on Friday in order that the oil or the fat of the Shabbos candle should drip into this container, and you want it to drip into this container, not make a mess on your table or on your floor, that's permitted. V'im natav l'seichei shamen, also l'stapik mimenu b'Shabbos v'akli also b'tolto. If on Shabbos, so you put the container here before Shabbos. If on Shabbos oil or fat from the Shabbos candles drips into this container, it causes the container to be forbidden. You can't use this container anymore, and you're not even allowed to move the container once it has the oil or the fat in it. And if the oil or the fat didn't drip into the container is not forbidden to be used or to be moved. Rather, you could still move it even though you had in mind that the oil should drip into it or the fat should drip into it. Since in actuality it didn't drip into it, you could still use and move the container. So there's a lot of different laws over here in this halacha about what you have to be careful when lighting Shabbos candles. Not what are you allowed to have to around the Shabbos candles, if you want to.
Rabbi,
Yeah,
can you have a container without water in it?
I'm gonna go over it. I'm gonna go over that point.
Okay, because we use a disposable aluminum tray if we want to put something under it.
Right. So that's a good point. So something that's disposable is if you want, so you put under your Shabbos candle something that's disposable, because you want, in order to either for the sparks, or you want to be careful of something not to make a mess, or for safety. Then so something that's disposable, so that's something that you're not nullifying its use. It's made to be used for something like that. It's made to be, its use is to be that things to prevent other things from getting dirty. So you're not nullifying its use. That's what it's made to be used for, to protect other things from getting dirty. So it's permitted to use tinfoil, even to put a disposable tray, not only before Shabbos, but even on Shabbos. A container, we learned in this halacha, if there's no water in it, you're allowed to put it. You're allowed to put it under the candles before Shabbos, but on Shabbos you're not allowed to. A disposable tray that's meant to be used for things not to get dirty, to prevent the table or the floor from getting dirty, that is permissible to put it even on Shabbos, as long as you're not going to move the candles. But of course, it's better to do it before Shabbos. It will be permitted even on Shabbos if you're not moving the candles, but it will be better to do before Shabbos. So let's go over some points in this halacha. It was a little bit of a difficult halacha, a lot of different. So we have number one about water. You shouldn't put water that would cause you can't have water in the glass where you're keeping the candle, where you're keeping your tea light or Shabbos candle, in order to cause the fire to burn not as long. If it's going to cause the Shabbos candle not to burn as long. Then we spoke about having a container with water. Now, to have a container with water to catch the sparks is forbidden, because it's causing the sparks to get extinguished. But to have a container that has no water in it, to put by your Shabbos candles to catch the sparks, is permitted. If you do it, is permitted, even if you put that container on Shabbos. Now, then a container you're allowed to put a container to catch the drops, in order that the drops of oil or fat will fall into the container, not on the floor or table, as long as you did that before Shabbos. You put out the container before Shabbos. But if you're putting the container on Shabbos in order to collect the fat or the oil, that is forbidden. And if oil falls into the container or fat, then the container is forbidden to be used. And in a case when nothing falls into the container, you're allowed to use the container still. You're still allowed to use the container. Now let's move on to halacha Yud Beis. toiv lahaniach asachalei salashochan koidim shemadlikan eslanedes kedulakamon simin peites sifbeis. It is preferable to have challah on the Shabbos table before you light Shabbos candles. And this is like it says later on in chapter 89. Does anyone know the reason why it's good to have challah on the table before you light Shabbos candles?
Because before you light the candles, it's not Shabbos.
Before you light candles, not Shabbos, but why is it necessary? Why is it a good thing to have?
Because the
Challah-
challahs are for Shabbos, not for the weekday time.
Why can't I bring the challah after I light Shabbos candles? Why is it good to have it before I light Shabbos candles?
In case you need
Because
to move
it's a
the table.
malacha.
Very good. Yeah. In order, there's a in the laws of things that are forbidden to be moved. If something is used for, if something has on it, which a Shabbos table, if it has Shabbos candles on it, which the Shabbos candles is something that is doing is something that's forbidden. It's permitted it's forbidden to light Shabbos candles on Shabbos, and so the Shabbos candles the table that has something that's forbidden work on Shabbos on it, and not just the forbidden work on it. Just want to correct myself. Forbidden. If the Shabbos table has a forbidden work on it that is being done, the forbidden work is being done on Shabbos. Although you lit the Shabbos candles before Shabbos, which you did a permissible thing, but right now on the Shabbos table is something that is forbidden to. There's the candles there are candles that are burning, which it's forbidden to have burning candles, which it's forbidden to light candles on Shabbos. The things that you have something that is forbidden on the table on Shabbos, that right now its action is being done, the use of this is being done. It is forbidden to move the table, unless there's something permissible as well on the table. So if you put challah on the table, it makes that the table has not just something forbidden on it, but also something permissible on it. And we say that if there's something permissible and forbidden on the table, you're able to move the table. And this is so by any, we'll discuss this. This will be discussed more in chapter 89. But at the same rate, you don't have to have specifically challah on the table. You can have something else that's permissible on the table that is significant to you, whether it be a kiddush cup or a challah tray, a siddur, things that are permissible that are significant, that have some significance to you. Now let's move. Halacha Yud Gimel. In Halacha 13, we're going to discuss what are the laws of a woman that is blind with lighting Shabbos candles. Is she able to light Shabbos candles? Because the reason of lighting Shabbos candles is in order that we should have benefit from the light of the Shabbos candles. A person that's blind isn't directly getting benefit from the Shabbos candles. They do get benefit that there's light, because when there's light, other people are able to assist a blind person. But they don't get the same benefit as another person that sees that isn't blind. They get a direct benefit from light. So should a blind person light, or someone, if you have a lady that is blind and her husband isn't blind, should the lady light, which regularly a lady should light, or is it better for her husband to light? This will be answered in halacha 13. Isha seimes. In yesh labal, yal lekabal v'yivarech. A woman that is blind, if she has a husband that isn't blind, her husband should light the Shabbos candles and say a bracha. Then ein labal, v'dara levada, maglekes u'mevereches. If she isn't married, or her husband is as well blind, so in those scenarios, she shall light Shabbos candles with a bracha and recite a bracha.
No, you're on mute.
Yossi, I'm sorry. She's blind. She cannot see what she's doing. I don't understand that halacha. Please.
So the light, it's a good question. If she's blind, it still is showing honor to Shabbos by having light. There's different reasons of lighting Shabbos candles. There's in order that you shouldn't stumble over something, in order that you should have benefit when you're eating, in order that it should bring pleasure when you're eating, and in order to honor Shabbos. So the idea of honoring Shabbos is still being done when a woman is blind and lighting Shabbos candles.
But Yossi, if she's blind and she cannot see what she's doing to light the candle, she could burn the house down.
Right. So let's say there's a non-Jewish aide that would be supervising.
Then let the non-Jewish person light the light. I mean, this is a matter of safety.
If it could be safe, let's say the non-Jewish person could hold her hand and light. I hear you. It's not so.
Person can guide her hand.
If it could be done in a safe manner that the aide could do it with her, it would be better for the Jewish lady to light, even though that she's blind, than to get the non-Jewish, than to get her aide who isn't Jewish to light. But if it wouldn't be safe, she should get the non-Jewish aide to light, and she should also say a bracha.
She can say the bracha, but she shouldn't be lighting the candle. I'm sorry.
I agree. It has to be safe. It's a good point. I'm not. If it could be safe, someone lighting with someone else, like if it could be safe, then that would be the preferable thing to do. Maybe as you said, also we could you're just thinking now out loud. If it's not safe for her to light with a fire, she could still say a bracha and light with electric battery candles. Use that if it's just another suggestion that I'm thinking of. If a blind lady is living with others in one home, and others are lighting, the blind lady should light without a bracha, since that the other ladies are already bringing light into the home, and all what the blind lady is doing is bringing additional light. And for that idea, since that she's only getting indirect benefit from light, and this is only additional light, that in such a case, she shouldn't say a bracha. But what if she is the hostess. The best person to light is the hostess. Although all women should light, the one that has the most responsibility to light is the hostess. So if a blind lady is the hostess, she should be the first one to light and say a bracha. Because if she's lighting first, she's not bringing additional light. Rather, she's bringing the first amount of light. She's just giving light. And afterwards, others should light and say a bracha. So nowadays we have electricity. So since we have electricity, there are some rabbinical authorities that say if a blind lady is the hostess, it would be better to first turn off the light in the room she's lighting, then turn it on, and afterwards light the Shabbos candles. In order that should be from a complete darkness to light, not just it should be more of a transformation of darkness to light, because she needs to have in order to make it a proper benefit of more of a significant benefit of gaining from the light that she is lighting.
She's blind, she can't see it.
The benefit that she's giving to other people, which will the idea of lighting Shabbos candles doesn't necessarily have to be that you benefit from the Shabbos candles, but that someone has to benefit from the Shabbos candles. So
Also, Rabbi Yossi, it doesn't have to be the physical benefit only. It could be the spiritual benefit, which the blind lady will also get.
Right. So that's right. 100%. Good point, David. There's the spiritual benefit. As I mentioned before, lighting Shabbos candles brings light. And it doesn't just bring light into the world. It brings light into every person, every home. It brings a spiritual light to every person and to the home environment. Okay, let's go to Halacha Yudalid. Halacha Yudalid discusses what does the lady have to do if she forgets to light Shabbos candles. We're going to learn a law about what is necessary to do in the future if a lady forgets to light Shabbos candles. Now, an important note, this is specifically if the lady knows about lighting Shabbos candles and she just forgot to light Shabbos candles. Not that she's not observant, and because of that she didn't light Shabbos candles, because she wasn't taught about Judaism and isn't observant. This halacha is specifically someone that lights Shabbos candles and just forgets or was negligent in lighting and missed lighting Shabbos candles. A woman that forgot one time to light Shabbos candles. She should light in the future every Friday before Shabbos, every week. She should light for the rest of her life. Every week she should light one more candle from what she regularly lights. So if she regularly lights 4 candles, then she should light 5 candles in the future. And similarly, if she forgot many times, she should add a candle for every time that she forgot. And the reason why she should add an additional candle is to serve as a reminder that she should be careful from now on in lighting Shabbos candles. When she sees next week that the week after she forgot that there's an extra candle, and when she lights the extra candle, it's going to affect her, that she's going to be more careful in doing the mitzvah of lighting Shabbos candles. It will help her remember to always light Shabbos candles every week and not to forget. And therefore, if because of a cause beyond her control, she didn't light, she does not need to add in the future weeks. So what are examples of things that it wasn't, she missed lighting candles, not because of her being forgetful, but just because of the circumstance. For example, if she's sick, if she's sick, and because of that she doesn't feel up to lighting Shabbos, she's not strong enough to not able to light Shabbos candles. Others bring down if for some reason her clock was wrong and caused her not to light Shabbos candles. Another example where she would not be obligated to add a Shabbos candle is if she forgot to buy. Of course, you have to be careful not that these things shouldn't happen to you, but let's say you forgot to buy Shabbos candles, and now it's too close to Shabbos to go to the store to go get tea lights or to get candles for Shabbos. So in such a case, what you should do is you should turn off the light and turn back on the light. Even if you can't do it with a bracha, at least that will count as according to some opinions, as lighting Shabbos candles. So you won't say a bracha because there are those that hold it's not the way one should light. It's not the way one should light Shabbos candles. So therefore, you won't say a bracha, because some say you can't light Shabbos. You don't fulfill the mitzvah by turning on electricity that doesn't run by battery. But in the case where you don't have any candles, you should at least make sure to turn on the light.
Rabbi?
Yeah, I want to mention a little more. Yeah, give me a moment.
Yeah.
I'll get to you in a second. If, let's say, someone fails, they want to because they're not obligated to add a candle, but they felt bad that they missed 1 week. There's different things that you could do. You could try to encourage others to light Shabbos candles, or you could those that are poor and they can't afford buying can't afford the candles. You could buy the candles for them. Those are different things that you could do if you felt bad that you missed lighting 1 week, even though that it was out of your control. One more thing that came into my head, I forgot to mention from last halacha, the halacha about someone that's blind, is that if someone wasn't born blind, but they became blind later on in their life, and it's bothersome to the lady, that she's going to stop lighting Shabbos candles, she's able to continue lighting Shabbos candles even if she's married and she doesn't have to have her husband, and she's able to light with the bracha, and not that her husband has to light the Shabbos candles. Yeah.
So I just wondered, the extra candle, do you light it forever?
Yeah, every week.
And if you forget 2-3 times, you light that many candles more every week.
If you forget it yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the end of chapter 75. Next, we're going to learn is chapter 77. Chapter 76 talks about the laws of davening on Shabbos, and since nowadays there's a lot of what is included in the nusach of davening, in the text. What's the text of davening is brought in the siddur, and it will give you the information. It's very accessible to find the siddur that will guide you what you should say on what to say on Shabbos davening. So I feel it's better to go to chapter 77 now. Chapter 77 discusses the laws of Kiddush and the Shabbos meal. By the Shabbos meal, the Shabbos night on Friday night, and the Shabbos day. Does anyone know there's a mitzvah to sanctify Shabbos? Does anyone know why do we have the mitzvah to sanctify Shabbos? Why does Hashem want us to sanctify Shabbos? And the mitzvah is to sanctify Shabbos with words. Say, we have in Shmona Esrei, in the Shabbos davening, we say on Friday night davening, we say a bracha to sanctify the Shabbos, and also when we make Kiddush on wine, there's a bracha we say to sanctify Shabbos. Why is it that there's a mitzvah to sanctify Shabbos with words? Anyone have any suggestions?
Maybe because it's holy.
Right. So Shabbos is a holy day. So if it's a holy day, there's a lot of why is it necessary, because it's a holy day, to sanctify it? To have a bracha, that there's a mitzvah to say it.
Perhaps because Hashem created the world with 10 utterances, and so we're supposed to utter words. It's connected to that somehow.
I hear. Okay, any other suggestions? Yeah.
Possibly to separate it from the rest of the days. I mean,
very good. You want to add? More?
Yeah. In order to give ourselves a break, it's like a stress management tool. You need to take a break from the cares of the workday week.
He's asking why you have to stay there.
Okay, so a couple reasons.
It's in the 10 Commandments. Right. So a couple points I want to mention about the idea of sanctifying Shabbos. It says as Herschel was saying, it says in the 10 Commandments, Zachar Shem Shabbos L'Katshai. Remember the holy day to sanctify it. What's that? So the sanctifying is, so we see that the sanctifying Shabbos is in order for us to remember Shabbos. What do we need to remember? We have to remember that Shabbos is a day that's different than any other day during the week of the week. It's a special day. It's a beautiful day. It's a holy day. When we're going to say we're going to sanctify it, that's going to cause us to remember the specialty of Shabbos. And along the same lines, another point is that when we sanctify Shabbos, it's going to help us help our belief and realize that when we have a day of Shabbos, this shows that Hashem created the world, and after the creation we have Shabbos. It will help our belief in Hashem creating the world. So let's see the laws. We're going to start now. Halacha Aleph of we're going to start now chapter 77, Siman Ayin Zayin. It's on those that have them as Nayim Kesa Shulchan Aruch. It's on page 48, the bottom of 48. Mitzvahs Asim and Atayro L'Kadish Hashem HaShabbos B'Dvarim. It's a positive mitzvah from the Torah to sanctify the day of Shabbos with words. Shnemer Zachar Hashem HaShabbos L'Kadsha. It says in the Torah, remember the day of Shabbos to sanctify it. Kalaymar, which this, you can explain the pasuk, you can explain the verse as follows. Zachareyu Zchiras Shabbos B'Kiddush. Remember it by, how do you remember it? You remember Shabbos by sanctifying it. Through sanctifying Shabbos, that's going to cause you to remember the greatness of Shabbos. And it's necessary to remember Shabbos when Shabbos commences by saying Kiddush, and also when Shabbos departs by saying Havdalah. When we're saying you have to say Kiddush, remember that you have to sanctify Shabbos, according to the Torah, to do the mitzvah, according to the mitzvah biblically, just by daven, if you daven Shmona Esrei, the Friday night Shmona Esrei, there's a bracha that sanctifies Shabbos. So by saying that bracha, you sanctified Shabbos. However, the rabbis wanted that we shouldn't just sanctify Shabbos, but rather we should sanctify Shabbos over wine, as we know as being Kiddush. The tikna chachamish teteis zechira zu al kais yayin bein b'chnisasei bein b'yitziasei, and the rabbis ordained that you should remember the Shabbos on a cup of wine, both when Shabbos comes in and when Shabbos departs. So the idea of doing Kiddush on wine so that's where the idea of making Kiddush on wine comes from. It's to sanctify Shabbos, and biblically you could sanctify Shabbos just by saying the bracha even without wine. An interesting idea along this idea of sanctifying Shabbos, it's brought down that the mitzvah the obligation is to sanctify Shabbos when it comes in, through Kiddush with a cup of wine. But you could do a mitzvah throughout the entire. You could do a mitzvah throughout the entire Shabbos. You're not obligated to do this, but you could do a mitzvah of sanctifying Shabbos throughout the whole Shabbos. That is by praising Shabbos. You say good Shabbos. That gives praise to Shabbos. You're saying Shabbos is good. That is doing a mitzvah by giving praise to Shabbos, or anything along that, or anything else that would give praise to Shabbos. Say Shabbat Shalom, or something, or anything similar to that. Halacha Beis. In Halacha Beis, we're going to learn when is the time that you're able to sanctify Shabbos. We mentioned that you could accept Shabbos before Shabbos comes in. You could take in Shabbos early. Could a person make Kiddush before nightfall? One is able to make Kiddush on wine and to eat their Shabbos meal, even though it's not yet night. However, those that have the custom that throughout the week they daven the evening services at night, and on Shabbos they daven in the evening services before night. They take in Shabbos early. Elu asurin lachol mishekia chatzi shah kaidim tzeis hakechah. For those, it is forbidden to eat their Shabbos meal when it reaches a half hour before nightfall. But I want to mention, even those that are careful throughout the week to daven at nightfall, and only on Shabbos do they take in Shabbos, or do they daven Ma'ariv? Do they daven the evening services before night? If it's difficult to wait to have the Shabbos meal, it'll be a discomfort. Then they're able to have the Shabbos meal even within a half hour from nightfall. But if there would be no discomfort, they should wait a half hour. If there isn't more than a half hour, ad halayla, until night, it's necessary for them to wait until night. And once it's night, they should recite the 3 paragraphs of Shema, and afterwards they should make Kiddush. And it's forbidden to taste anything once it's already Shabbos, once you already accept Shabbos, until you make Kiddush. However, even though it's forbidden to taste anything before Shabbos, and this includes even just to drink water is forbidden. If someone needs to take medicine, then they're able to take a pill before Kiddush and take the pill and have water to swallow the pill. Or yeah. Okay, that's it for this week. Everyone should have a good Shabbos, and we'll continue next week. The law